Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining us today from Miami, Florida, is Pablo Turletti from ROI Marketing Institute. Pablo, thank you so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Thank you so much, Charlene, for having me on.
Oh, it is our pleasure. And tell us what you do over there at ROI Marketing Institute. And it's Institute because you're located all over the world.
Well, sort of. We actually operate in 25 different countries, mostly Europe, USA, and Latin American countries, although we have recently opened an office in New Delhi and in Singapore. And what we do is we help organizations of all sorts, from companies to NGOs, including governments, to be able to measure the real economic impact of their initiatives when they talk about either marketing, sustainability projects, stakeholder management, training investments. So all sorts of intangibles, all those things that companies find hard to measure in terms of real economic terms. We help them do that through a model that we have developed during the last 10, 12 years.
And Pablo, can you give me an example of something like that?
Sure. We have helped companies like Heineken, Philips, Danone to be able to measure the actual ROI of participating to a trade show, to doing a point-of-sale campaign, advertising, social media, you name it. Also, public institutions such as the tourism board in Spain or in Ibiza, or the tourism board in Peru or in Mexico, to be able to measure, for instance, the opportunity cost of not going to a trade show. Oh, how much do they have to invest on a health campaign to be able to prevent an illness in the case of the health minister of Mexico, where we help them to figure out the real level of investment that they need to make it feasible and viable to either prevent an illness or do a promotion campaign for a whole country. So those typical investments such as come and visit us, and so how much do we have, or can we invest in these campaigns? So we put the numbers together to the intangibles, to the branding, to the image, to the awareness, and things like that.
Are there any specific analytic tools that you use to collect that data? Because you're right, that is the quintessential question. Should we go to this trade show? Should we sponsor this event? Should we host this conference? What are we going to get? Because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money to invest in something as simple as a trade show. So what analytical tools are you using to provide that data? And I love when you said, and we provide the information, what's the loss of ROI if you don't attend this event?
That is correct. I mean, we tend to believe when we measure the ROI that it's just an evaluation tool. And in reality, it is, but it's not only an evaluation tool. You can use knowing the ROI of something to validate a project prior to invest on it. You can use an ROI technique to build predictive models based on the variables that you have under control to invest on a project or things like that. So the analytical tools that we use, you don't need to be a NASA scientist. We don't have any magic secret algorithm or anything like that. We don't even sell a software. What we help companies is to develop an management model that they can implement with the systems they already have. So we use all suppliers, all the information coming from suppliers that company already have. Such as ERPs, CRMs, and those tools that companies already have. So we help them to funnel those information through the model in a way that they can calculate the actual ROI of their investments.
And do you find, now I'm picking your brain here because I find this fascinating. Do you find that, say, some things work really well for one company, but for another company, it just doesn't resonate with their viewers or their purchasers or their end customer?
Absolutely. I mean, it changes. It changes with the market. It changes with the type of product. It even changes with the historical moment the company is in at a given moment. And that's why you cannot really build a software. You cannot really create a secret algorithm for this. I mean, at the end of the day, the mathematical formula of ROI is the net investment divided by the investment. The net profit divided by the investment multiplied by 100, and that's the ROI. So there's no secret formula, no secret algorithm. And the reason why we cannot develop a software, and it's very hard for companies to develop any specific software and algorithm, is that it changes. You need to build your own attribution models that will allow you to know which part of any act of purchase, you can attribute to a given touch point. What was the influence of that given touch point to the decision-making process of customers? So this is something that you need to calculate, that you need to model previously, and it is only for you, for your market, for your product or service.
We always like to ask our guests, what do they see coming up in the next couple of years in marketing? The one constant is that it's always changing. And some folks are focused on, the big cookie apocalypse that's coming, or the big meta that's coming. And some folks are focused on video. What do you have your eye on that might impact how you calculate that ROI for your companies?
Sure. There's no doubt technology will keep reshaping the way we do marketing. The issue is not what we do, but how we do it and how we measure it. So what we foresee coming in the next years is that companies will get used to these constant changes of technology. So today will be video, tomorrow it will be meta, after tomorrow will be whatever they come up with. The difference lies on the management model that you use to manage those activities. So we are going to shift from a marketing that is based on activity planning to a marketing that is based on business results planning. So to be able to hook those two concepts of the activities that we do in marketing with the business results, you need to be able to develop that cause-effect relationship between whatever you do in marketing and the real impact it does have on the business. Because at the end of the day, you cannot pay salaries with likes in Facebook. You cannot pay the electricity bill with clicks or even impressions that you can get in so many different media. So the idea is that we have to be able to connect everything that we do in that intangible world of marketing with the actual economic impact it has on the business. And that's what companies are going to be aiming at in the near future.
And that was great insight. And I hope we didn't steal your thunder already by that question, because I always like to end every interview with asking someone, what is the best tip that you could give a business or an entrepreneur that they can start implementing tomorrow to start making some progress? So, what should they sit down and really start looking at? How do they get this started? Because it can be kind of overwhelming, which is probably why most companies don't do it. So what's the first step that they could take to really start understanding and processing the ROI investments that they're making in their company?
Sure. First is the mind shift. So we have to start planning marketing to obtain business results, and not only to obtain marketing inputs. So what we considered results. So we had in the past GRPs, OTS. Nowadays is CTRs or impressions or NPS. So that's not the actual result of your marketing. That's the input that your marketing generates to be able to produce a business output. So what we used to conceive as a marketing output, we need to now to think of it as a marketing input to obtain a business output, a business result. And to do that, we need to start focusing on those results rather than on planning activities. We need to get or be able to obtain common performance indicators, comparable performance indicators. Nowadays, we don't have those comparable performance indicators. So we need to get to the business level to be able to have comparable performance indicators. And one tip, if I had to tell you just one thing that you can keep for tomorrow, that will be look at the way you set your objectives. What are they measuring? Are you going to be able to define whether you achieve that goal or not? Because we've been really fuzzy about it lately.
All right. Well, Pablo, thank you so much. What a great conversation. Didn't even know somebody like you out there existed. I think companies could really should take advantage of the opportunity to see if their effort, because that's the one thing they want to know from their marketers or their digital folks. Like, when am I going to see results? What ROI am I getting? And you're absolutely right. Likes and shares don't equal money. And that's really, at the end of the day, we're all in business to make some money. Thank you so much for taking the time today to join us on Digital Champions.
There you go. Thank you very much, Ali.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure. What a fascinating industry, folks. So I recommend, if you want to check out ROI Marketing Institute, start by going to dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm Charlene Shirk. That's going to do it for us today on Digital Champions, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.